Mark Buzan here, founder of the Society of Nonprofit Board Directors. I am trying out today a brand new streaming platform, StreamYard, so I'm hopeful that this is going to work. And this is also what is going to allow me to be able to interact with you as well a little bit better. Beforehand, we were using another one that really forced us to go through Zoom. This one I'm hoping will be much more useful and also allows me to be able to get out to a much more broader audience. We're broadcasting here today from the page, the Facebook page of the Society of Nonprofit Board Directors, the Nonprofit Fundraising Hackers group here on Facebook, Periscope, as well as YouTube, my YouTube channel. So if you're with us today, let me know, leave a comment down below. I'm testing this. If you're new to this, I'm new to this as well. Hopefully this works out for you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is, again, Mark Buzan. I am the founder of the Society of Nonprofit Board Directors. I'm also the founder of the 90-day nonprofit turnabout for fundraising and helping nonprofits scale to as much as $200,000 in a year without the reliance on grants. I'm a two-time executive director myself, so I understand where you're going. And one of my more proud accomplishments is being a father and husband to wonderful lady Carolina and father to wonderful little 6-year-old Simon as well. Today I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to share a little bit of a quick presentation I've done. I hope that this gets out to you as well. You can view this through the technology that we're going to be using. What I'm hoping for is that we can have a frank discussion about a subject that I think is really important. It is very much about what I see us happening sometimes discussing is the whole issue of, I say, sometimes we have a tendency, just as human beings, but particularly I think in the nonprofit sector, because we're driven along by the heart, of confusing familiarity and our passion with competencies and the skills needed to be able to get forward on this. So we're going to move forward here. I'm going to give you a little bit about what I'm talking about here. Hopefully you can see this, and if not, we'll do a redo on this. This is the nature of the beast here. When we try new things out. So, do we confuse familiarity with competence as well? What do I mean by that? Often enough, when we're stuck in the mission that we're accomplished in, I think of ourselves, and we're particularly when that nascent thing, that caterpillar who's eating away, and all that caterpillar can really see is the leaf. The leaf they're eating away at that mission, and one bit at a time there. But they can, when you're surrounded by so much to do, it can be hard to get the bigger picture. We can lose sight of that bigger picture as well. In fact, I can think of, particularly when we're so driven, and myself as well, I've been falling victim to this. So we're so driven by a cause. I'm personally really driven by the cause of helping nonprofit organizations step up their game to a higher level, to installing professionalism there, and valuing nonprofit service, particularly nonprofit board service as well. And because at times because I'm more of a left brain kind of guy, I guess a right brain kind of guy, you can see me seeing very much the type of person that I can really get about the how. And my reality is very much about this. And sometimes I've had to have others, the benefit of others, surround myself with the others to bring me back down to terra firma about my establishing what my own reality distortion field is about. Because I'm so passionate about that, all right? And that can be a risk because when we live by absolutes, we are often blinded by them, and we may not always have all of the answers either. Too often, I think there's a tendency for us in the nonprofit sector to do one of two things. We insist on getting a plan together before starting. We wait for all the right conditions, and I find this happening quite frequently amongst founders. Or the other possibility is that because we are so passionate about this, We are always looking for that person, that perfect person that must be within our sphere, must understand specifically what are the issues are that confront our passion, that confront what's going on in our world. And the danger of that is that you have often a difficulty of finding somebody who can measure up to your standard of this. And it often often limits us from accepting possible help as well, or seeing opportunities as they can be around themselves, be around you. The consequences of this mean often for us of waiting on our own efforts, even if that means we're getting mediocre results. All right? What do I mean by that? I'm encountering, and I've been witness of this. I'm not perfect at all. I've been guilty of this as well. Is just expecting that perfect category of a person that's going to jump in. If you're a board member or a board, and you're expecting certain qualities of a person as an executive director that's going to come into that role, and they're going to be massively understanding of your mission. They're going to completely come from your sector, from your industry, whether they're, let's say it's about helping child poverty, or it's about advancing combating homelessness, or the environment, or if it's on a technical side, on the trade environment side, they must come specifically from that area because you're comfortable with that as well. That can be dangerous though, because you have these plans, as I was talking about, waiting to establish these plans, this wonderful, I've heard variations of this quote here. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, by Mike Tyson. I've heard variations of that as well. That same concept is that if you wait for things to be perfect, you're going to be waiting for a very long time. And in my humble opinion, while passion is, you gotta have passion. I've talked about this. I have talked about this. How you gotta be hungry. You know, like Les Brown says, you gotta be hungry. But passion really only matters if you have impact. All right? Because here's the thing: the people that you surround yourself with that might have that same passion as you. Well, that old saying of the birds of a feather flock together, that can be great. They can also be that mind shift to be able to drive that passion in the heart forward, but they too can also be blinded from only seeing things through a particular type of lens as well. And so do, as a result, the same perspectives and ideas come forth. Again, passion really only matters if it leads to an innovation that delivers impact. Example, revenues, profits, an improved process or performance, or something entirely completely different that could be important to you, maybe serving a greater number of people in the community. This is at least one of the reasons, at least if you take an example from the private sector of venture capitalists, why they only are often willing or interested in funding a project up to a certain stages. They're waiting to see if that vision and that passion, if it's so great on paper, bears any kind of resemblance to reality as well. So there are three circles, as I like there's how we in the sector, I think, really have to be mindful of ourselves on measuring optimism versus our reality. First and foremost, we've got to be aware of what we're passionate and whom we're familiar with, yes, but we've also got to balance that against what can make us the best in the world that it can be, and what, as a result, drives our economic engine. So being familiar and passionate about things, about people in whom we surround ourselves, is important. It is possible, and it's really important in this dichotomy of this thing there, that it is possible to be really great at one thing here, in this purple circle here, but are you the best at it? You may know something about it, but are you the best at it? What is it exactly that's driving the end results, the economic results? In nonprofits, we drive that largely, we talk about fundraising as well. So what are we doing, or what we're passionate about, or what we're actually doing is that actually deriving some kind of results as well? Something to think about. So often, as a result, I think that we run the risk of losing sight of not seeing the forest for the trees, and plowing through the hassles through all the hassles of getting an organization funded, moving forward in that, and being capable and strong also admits that at sometimes, you know what, I have to admit that I need help at times. I think that makes the mark of a strong person as well. And that I sometimes see, unfortunately, in a culture that exists between executive directors and their board, is executive directors kind of scared in some ways to be willing to accept help or ask for help in some way for fear of perception of how that might look upon them by their board as well. I think that there's something that can be said between the relationship between the two, particularly, again, when it comes to a number of other things. Fundraising is just one of them, an important one of them. Because when you can see that there, you can get out of that little tunnel vision that you're in and actually begin to see that there's a broad world beyond you as well. Folks, I really hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope I'm going to be checking this new platform out on StreamYard. I hope that it wasn't too painful. Share it, get the word out, okay? So I like to say often, suffering is optional in this world. It is possible to raise lots of money. It is possible to have a functioning nonprofit organization, association that's getting the word out. Okay? Reach out to me. Hope that you'll share this message as well, and check us out and comment. Join us as well in the Nonprofit Fundraising Hackers group. We're growing. We're almost up to 500 members, believe it or not, and we started this group in late July. Thanks for joining with us. God bless.